This episode, we look back over the year 2022. A little bit of a recap on Bullet Truck's socials, the events, the comps, the highs and lows.
Oh. Keep going, Carly. Oh! What? Do you like this, Danny?
I love it.
Yeah, that's it. That's the line. Oh, that looks sick. This is insane.
The first run, early January, was a social, local to home.
Oh, it's floating. Easy.
Now, since having fitted up the dual cases, Adam fabbed up a temporary cross member while we were waiting for the trail gear one that Roadrunner ordered for us, with our creeper locks and 40-inch traps. So you know the saying, beggars can't be choosers. So the only way we could continue to wheel before the cross member got here was on this temporary one.
Rock the boat.
The cross member did give us a lot of trouble on our social wheeling. We got caught up on it as often as a 79 does on its rear spring.
It's so mental. Too easy though. Yeah. Hey! Oh! Mirror! Where's your strap? Strap! Yes!
Turn to an arborist.
Can't turn it!
I know!
I was trying! I'll give it one more go and then I'm going to have to winch.
You've done well, mate. Danny, you're a mad man. I'm coming out with you again if you don't mind, eh?
Am I sending it?
Perfect.
Good run, no breakages, apart from the mirror. We also managed to give the roll cage slider a good hit. Oh, wait a minute. Quick bit of maintenance before I have to back it back into the garage. Good as gold, look at that. A couple of weeks later, still no cross member, still no 40-inch tyres, but we went out in any case. And again, a local one. We had a couple of events coming up and I really just wanted seat time. Another hot sunny day for the 37s to find maximum traction.
Yeah.
Been having intermittent fuel issues of late, blowing smoke at random times, hard to start, and needing to run the fuel pump a lot more often on the steeper angles. It was time to get Brian over to give us a hand in changing these injectors.
Taking a rock with him.
Bit of a black eye from that one, but that'll heal.
Right.
Another fun run. Unfortunately, a touch more panel damage.
Oh, lucky you got that rail there.
It was supposed to be a simple job, changing the injectors, but Bullet being Bullet, it fights us to the death. It still wasn't running right. We must have pulled the lines off at least 3 times, checking that we had installed them correctly. Brian does a little bit further investigating to find out how good the pump timing is.
So we've checked that half a dozen times for consistency. We're getting 0.3 millimeters of lift at top dead center. The specification 5L no automatic cold start device, 0.64 to 0.76. That's out a long way. That is retarded by a few degrees, and that could be the cause of our nasty white smoke rough running shenanigans.
I was pulling my hair out. I was thinking bad diesel. So I got up early one morning before Brian had arrived.
Hey Dan, what's the problem?
Not ideal. Thought I'd get up this morning and clean the tank up. My hand's now stuck inside there. It went in all right, and I think maybe because I've been vigorously wiping, my hand's swollen a bit. I don't know.
Okay.
So the keys, hang on, follow me. Come over and get some soapy water. I need to get my hand out. I can't get it out, eh?
Can you change the shape of your hand? Like,
Luckily Brian got here after that shambles, so we get Nicholas on to changing the water pump, and hopefully there's some magic dust flying around this garage today so we can hear this thing run.
Blow it, okay.
After so many sleepless nights, I can't tell you how good it was to hear this truck run. So while Brian was to and fro for over a week, we decided to fit up the Trail Gear Hydro Assist Ram we had. Brian did the pump upgrade, more flow, more power to turn the wheels. Roadrunner had sent up the 40s on the creeper locks and the Trail Gear dual cross member. We were now ready for a test on the 40 with Hydro Assist. But of course, with every prototype, there's dramas. For the pit crew here.
Special tool.
I only drove on one rock. The truck today felt very unfamiliar. It felt stiff and tippy. I'm assuming the stiff front springs and the extra height from the tyres. The tyres felt green. They didn't feel like they were sticking. So I leave this run, but I'm not 100% happy with the outcome.
Lucky straps on.
I'm happy enough that we sorted the Hydro Assist out, the Ram. We had an event very soon. So I ended up taking the 38mm spacers off and putting in the bigger 60mm ones to give us a bit of width. So after seeing Bullet lay over once, almost twice, Adam wants it at his shop. He wants to put in a bit more bracing on the cage. Here we are, URC, round 1, Cooma, New South Wales, stage 1, not how I planned it.
You alright?
I'm good. Who's the wife?
Oh, he's up there. He's up there.
So the rules state we have 40 minutes repair time before we get a DNS on the next stage. So at this point we knew we had a CV, a complete knuckle to change. We tore 3 studs out of the top of the kingpin, so nothing bar one was holding that high steer arm on. We had to pull the crossover pipes off, take the glow plugs out, and get all this oil out of the turbo and motor. It's the last thing I wanted after Brian had spent all that time doing all that motor work a couple of weeks earlier. We soldiered on, we got the stages done after lunch, and we were looking pretty good. We were topping the radiator up before every start to a stage and finishing it with very little water in the system. We'd done a top tank in the radiator also with the rollover and broken half the fins on the fan too. But then the night stage, we had a front shaft failure. It looked like the welds in the boss had come apart, giving us no drive to that front diff. The Sunday morning, Adam welds up that front shaft and we get to play again. We left this event pretty busted up. We end up in 4th place, just short of a 3rd place podium. Just to keep it running was a miracle. We think the front shaft's bent now too, so I'm gonna have to pull that front diff out to inspect for damage. Not to mention re-caging the whole thing. While Adam's got Bullet down at the shop, I rebuild the winch. Roadrunner Off-Road have sent up a new end cap, plus a new control box to make this winch new again. Adam did an awesome job with the cage. Now with the next event not far off, I put the old front springs back in, and with the bar work over the roof now a touch taller, there's a few mods needed to the old garage door. Tony Shires sends us down a replacement front shaft. Thanks a lot, mate. We'll get this in, and now we can make the event. Another last minute thing we got under there was a rear suckdown winch. The next event was a fundraiser. It was the Tight Truck Challenge, Lap of the Loop, proudly sponsored by Nick at Cartech Tyre and Auto in Roseland, Sydney. Not only were we raising money for charity, our charity was the Ronald McDonald House. We were also collecting rubbish, which was part of the point score. Now talk about mud. It had rained leading up to this event. It had been postponed already once because of wet weather, but the show must go on. They were slippery, muddy, wet conditions.
Yeah, nice drive. You need just more wheel speed, a bit more of a run up.
It really was a fun event, a fun group of people. I'm slowly learning these dual cases, and the motor is running better than ever. There were many recoveries, and the winch that we just rebuilt got used quite a few times. So the plans moving forward from here was to fit up those 6-shooter knuckles that we had and see if we can really beef up bullet truck steering. Walking away from this event, I feel like I came away damage free. The only thing that I need to do with the lower spring is push that front diff forward as much as my steering rods allow me to. But unfortunately, on our routine maintenance inspection, we discover that this front shaft is bent again. I just feel that the fine splines on these shafts just can't handle bullet truck's torque. So we pop in to Hardy Spicer and have a chat about a heavier duty PTO shaft. Next on the to-do list was getting these 6-shooter knuckles on. I went and saw an old friend of mine, Ryan, from Snake Racing here in Sydney, and I got some relocating plates for those front spring. It got me 20 mil. I extended the bump stops down 20 mil, so hopefully all the geometry works and we don't jam that tyre up onto that guard. The shaft's in and it looks really good size-wise, clearance-wise. So I've got bullet in a place where I'm happy to put it away. It is now ready for the next event. So it's the June long weekend and we're off to Sora, Sydney Off-Road Racing Association, for the On All Fours Challenge. The On All Fours Club has some old school, hardcore track builders. Here's some highlights of our weekend.
Go, Daddy!
Yahoo! Now we were lucky enough to keep Bullet healthy for the whole weekend and took out first place in the outlaw class. Such an awesome result. The truck went awesome and Adam did an outstanding job. Also Shell and the kids for always standing by me. Your support is priceless and I couldn't do this without you. Thank you. So with that good news aside, we did however bend that trail gear dual transfer case cross member. So off it came again, off to Adams. He did some more magic. He braced it awesome. He says it's bulletproof now. Bit of blue paint and we're good to go again. Ready and waiting. Now again this year, I've been so lucky and honoured to be a Penrite Oils ambassador. And I'm lucky enough that every time I go into an area, I'm able to replenish it with new liquid gold from Penrite Oils. The next run was another social, which turned out to be your worst nightmare. We got stuck and totally broke the truck under winch. We had no drive, forced to play stonemasons. We were wedged. We winched well into the night. Not ideal, as Nicholas and I had a 21st to attend. So getting the phone call from home wasn't easy. It's Mum. Hi Mum.
Hello, how you doing?
Yeah, good. We all got out in one piece. And maybe in a couple of years, for those of us that were there, we can have a laugh about it. Thanks to Francis, Adam, and Phil. Without those three, I'd still be stuck in there. Not the first time I've had to unload bullet truck off the trailer this way, and I'm sure it won't be my last. Once it was off the trailer, the rear case came out, and we diagnosed it as the output shaft. That's low range. So Roadrunner Off-Road got us the trail gear replacement. Someone say, next event?
If they take the reverse, it becomes a 2-point penalty.
Here we are at Eastern Creek, Tough Dog Mountain, URC round 3. We missed round 2 due to other commitments, but we all remember what happened in round 1. Oh, sorry, wrong truck.
This is the type of angle with this type of vehicle that you are going to start to worry about ending up on the side. Okay, well he's got out of that nicely.
We had a big hit on the Friday, which resulted in a very badly bent front diff housing. We opted to run the 37s at this event, as we were worried about the side angles on Tough Dog Mountain.
He's a bit wild there. Oh, he's caught that cone. He's got another 10-point penalty, but he has laid it down in one piece.
Oh yeah, that's a ring opinion.
Now whether it was the load on the front end due to the very bad bow we had in that housing, we unfortunately did a front center midway through the final day. So our chances of a top 3 disappeared.
You can get that crown wall to go.
So again, Brian and Adam up to the task. We needed to build a whole new housing. Some fellow competitors from the event just past actually donated Bullet a front housing. Adam had the housing, he braced it up, strengthened it, braced at the front and on the top. We've got these gussets here on the ends.
And the colour is blue.
Were we going to make the next event? Roadrunner sent up some replacement gears for the front center and Brian did his thing. This time even I didn't know if we were going to make the next event. It felt like the norm for 2022 to be rebuilding Bullet Truck hours before it needed to go on the trailer. What would we do without last minute, huh? The final competition for the year was back up at Sora. It was the Woodpecker 2-car challenge, and unfortunately Adam took a big hit and had to pull out very early on stage 1. So here's a bit of action of Team Bullet on this particular weekend. While this may look easy, Brian did an outstanding job getting me through this. Keeping that back wheel on posed a problem for a lot of trucks earlier. So being a 2-car challenge, we were a little bit disadvantaged as far as having a second vehicle to help us, whether it be push us or pull us through something. The other teams had that advantage over us now. But while it was a 2-car challenge, you were still accumulating points individually. So we still had that in the back of our minds. Also too, teams that did lose a vehicle, the second navvy was allowed to help. So Steve was on board to give Brian a hand. While I did my best to listen to you, mate, I think you worked me out. You stood in front of the vehicle quite a lot so that I wasn't able to push that skinny pedal too hard. Brian and I go back a long, long way. We've wheeled together over 2 decades. I think this is his first official time at being my navvy. You did a great job. Unfortunately, this here is the 3rd attempt at the same obstacle. Only 5 or 6 meters from the finish, but we come up just short. So there was a timed circuit run, and while we were airing up the 40s, we noticed we were hemorrhaging gear oil. out of the driver's side front knuckle.
First high range test on 40s.
It was so much fun. Going fast took me back to my winch challenge days. And this motor going as good as ever. Having Brian, the guy that made it run that way, sitting next to me in the hot seat. I don't know about you, Brian, but I feel 18 again.
Finally. Oh my god, it goes flying! Because he wants to win?
So there was a stop point. You had to have your driver's front hub in line with a witch's hat. So if you overshot it, you had to back. And the time didn't stop until it was spot on.
Okay, stop. Stop. Yes!
That was fully sick.
So at the end of this great event, we were lucky enough to take out first place individual in class. Another great result for what turns out to be the last event and the last time we'll drive bullet truck in 2022. And the reason why is when we got it home and checked that knuckle, we found big damage. Now I don't know why it happened because this was all put together new, but I do know that I did have to clean out the inside of the ball for the bigger CV hours before we put it on the trailer in the dark. Now maybe I didn't clean out the metal fragments properly. I did use a magnet. I was in a hurry. It was raining. Now what's happened by the look of it is the bottom bearing has collapsed. Now once one of these bearings goes, the other one's not too far away. So a mod that we had for the future, we now had to hit the green light on. Since that event, Brian's been working on an 80 series front housing with the Hilux spring perches, which we're going to be putting under bullet truck for season 2023. Now what a year it's been. Plenty of people to thank. Firstly to the team, Adam and Brian, two of my closest friends. I've known these guys half my life. I couldn't have done any of this without you guys. The work that the two of you have put into this truck, it's a credit to you. Bring on our next run. Penrite Oils, thank you so much. Nick and the boys at CarTech Tire and Auto, thank you guys. Roadrunner Off-Road, don't know how many desperate phone calls were made to you guys this year. Cal Off-Road, Cal's been there, done that. His advice has been priceless at times this year. Bob and the boys at TJM Chipping Norton, for all your help, and very importantly, keeping the tow vehicle up to scratch. Phil and the family from Home Fires, the fan man, thanks for all your support. Last but not least, my beautiful family. Shell, I love you, thank you. Couldn't do this stuff without you. Amelia and Nicholas, makes me so happy when I hear you talking about bullet truck and what Dad does. You guys keep bringing those trophies home from your motorbikes and you'll have way more than me in no time. Plenty more action from this tough Hilux come 2023. We're going to be tougher and stronger. I hope you enjoyed this video. Merry Christmas from Bullet Truck, and as always, thanks for watching.